check. Good morning to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, professors and fellow students. Annadhanam param dhanam vidyadhanamahat ivam param. The offering of food is great, the offering of education is even greater. While food satisfies only momentarily, education satisfies during the entire course of life. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Nalini C. Iyer, Head of School of Electronics and Communication, to extend her warm welcome to all present here for today's event.
Good morning, everybody. It's my immense pleasure to welcome all the dignitaries, faculty, and students for this event. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome today's guest of honor and our proud alumna, Shri Pradeep Vajram, 1985 passed out EC graduate. And on this occasion, I also welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ashok Shettar, KLE Technological University. I welcome Dr. B.S. Anami, Sir, Registrar, KLE Technological University. And P.G. Thevri, Sir, Dean Academics. Professor B.L. Desai, Sir, Executive Dean. And Dr. Uma Mudengudi, Dean R&D. And also welcome Shri Ashok Tolannawar, Sir, President, Alumni Association. I welcome all the classmates of Pradeep Vajram 1985 batch of ECE and BUB, all branches, all electrical science branches on this occasion. And also welcome the office bearers of Alumni Association to this event. So once again, I take pleasure in inviting you all to this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would request Dr. P.G. Tiwari, Dean Academics, KLE Technological University, to present a bouquet to Shri Pradeep Vajram. Now, I would request Dr. B.S. Anami, Registrar, KLE Technological University, to present a momentum to Shri Pradeep Vajraman as a token of love and gratitude. Now, I would request Mr. Ashok Tolannawar, President, Alumni Association, to present a bouquet to Shri Pradeep Vajram. On behalf of Alumni Association. Now, I would request B.B. Kottu Shettar, Sir, Head of School of Mechanical Engineering, to present bouquet to Mr. D.R. Subramaniam, Mr. Shiv Turmari, Mr. Tarun Das, Mr. Raghu Babu, Mr. Ravi Kakati, Mr. Manoj Manik, Mr. Bhairapanavar ST, Mr. A.B. Raju, Mr. V.N. Gaitonde, and Mr. Somesh Patil. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Professor B.L. Desai, sir, to introduce our guest.
Good morning to all of you. It's a great pleasure having our star entrepreneur alumnus, Sri Pradeep Vajram, with us today. I'll be giving a very brief introduction of him now. He completed his graduation from our institute in 1985, and then his master's in computer engineering from Wayne State University, Detroit. He later on worked in LSI Logic in US, was transferred to Bangalore from US. And in those days, you can realize that being transferred to Bangalore from US with US dollar salary was something very special. After his post-graduation, along with his classmate, he started the company called Spike Technologies. And within a very short time, that company was adjudged as one of the top 10 VLSI design centers in Silicon Valley. All of you would have heard of Qualcomm. All the younger generation at least would have seen their chips getting into the mobiles, so many of you would be knowing about it. One of the leading companies, VLSI companies in the world. That company acquired Spike Technologies, in 2004. And later on, he served as vice president there in Qualcomm, leading the Semiconductor division in Bangalore. The specialty is, his company, he started in US, set up a center in Bangalore. And he set up a very strong center of excellence and delivered multiple 3G, 4G products successfully. And he played a crucial role in helping set up the Bangalore Design Center of Qualcomm. After the takeover, he moved out of Qualcomm. And then in 2008, if some of you would remember, 2008 was one of the peak recession years. 2000 and then afterwards 2008 was one of the peak recession years. And during this peak recession, he started another company titled Smart Play Technologies with 30 VLSI engineers. Just imagine during peak recession, Pradeep Vajram starting another company with 30 VLSI engineers, where the minimum salary would be around 2 lakhs per month. He was shelling out around 2 crore salary every month during peak recession. Smart Play has been ranked the second largest VLSI service company in India and among the top 50 best companies to work in globally. Later on, Smart Play was taken over by Arisent, which has now been acquired by Capgemini. He was the he was the president of that company for some time, and then he moved out. He is the chairman and CEO of Alpha ICs Corporation, a fabulous startup focused on delivering AI silicon solutions for edge inferencing and edge learning. Last year, he took 8 of our students, paying them 10 lakh salary. Pradeep has been successful serial entrepreneur in Semiconductor since 1994 and has vast experience building successful businesses in Silicon Valley and in India. His company Smart Play, for example, had centers in US, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Bombay and Noida. Pradeep Vajram is a successful entrepreneur and a veteran in the semiconductor embedded industry. Over 30 years of experience in executing all levels of responsibilities ASIC product design development, and he has been the recipient of the Outstanding Contribution to VLSI Embedded Design Industry Award by Mentor Graphics in 2015. I take this opportunity to request Sri Pradeep Vajram to set up one of his centers in our campus. Graduation from BVB, MS in US, setting up a global company and setting up centers in India. I think all this would communicate very clearly the possible opportunities for the students after higher studies, and how by going out he has looked at the opportunities globally and set up a global company. I am sure he has created thousands of jobs in US and in India. Certainly, I feel that he is a role model for BVBians. He has been involved in a lot of social service activities, giving back to the society, and today he is here to give a donation of 1 crore rupees in the name of his father, loving father, Sri Chandrasekharam Vajram. The interest from that will be given as scholarship to the poor and needy students of this university. Sir, if we can please go through the process. Yeah, please. Yes, sir. Come quickly. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Sri Pradeep Vajram to share his experience and thoughts with us. Please, sir.
Should I use a color mic? ఇది ఆన్ చేయాలి ఏమన్నా? Do we have to on this? Because yes. How do we do? Lagu. Good morning. Can you hear me? One minute. Hello, can you hear me? Good morning to you all. First of all, Sir Vice Chairman, Professor Bailey Desai sir, thank you very much for inviting me and the hospitality. I'm really touched, and I definitely love to come here more and more. And thank you for all the staff members that are being so graceful to me and so nice to me all this morning and explaining everything you're doing. So, sir asked me to talk about AI, impact of AI on silicon, because that's what I do every day. After seeing the labs, after seeing the innovation, after seeing the kind of work that you are all doing, I think I should just put my presentation off and talk about Kantara or some other movies, because you guys have done such a fantastic job. I think it's definitely, I don't know if how I can do justice to tell you what's happening in the industry, but at least I'll try to tell you what my experience is, give you a background of what is happening in the world and how quickly AI is changing the world and where is it impacting, what kind of verticals it's impacting, and then where the silicon, why the silicon is going to be such an important thing. The reason for me to be here is because of my dad. He is the one who architected everything for me. We lost him about 2 years ago, but in this memory, I wanted to do something to what he has done to me, education. And there are many people that don't have that kind of opportunity. But this is a small gesture from my side and from my family side to do something to the people who are most needed, and what education can do is significant, and we'll talk about that also. So the first slide, the backdrop and AI impact on silicon, examples of how AI is disrupting. I'm going to take two examples, automotive and retail, just to give you an idea, and then ChatGPT and everything else. So what is the permanent in life? Can anybody guess what's the permanent in life? Yeah, you guys are smart. See, I told you. So change is something permanent in life. So if you look at it, so what's happening in the world? Technology is transforming the world at much faster rate than any we all can imagine. And that is what's right now, if you look at it, that's exactly where we are, in the era we are living in. Some of the youngsters that you are in here, this is what is going to happen. What we used to see, the technology impact of 15-20 years, a particular technology is developed, that used to be a very new thing, but now you're seeing a technology at such a fast pace, and the adopting that is also going at a very high pace, and that's really changing. And one thing, this quote kind of really inspires, is very true for our technology companies. If you live in past or if you live in today, you're certain to miss tomorrow. And that's so true for all our technologies. You always have to have ability to look what is going to happen and be prepared to be part of that evolution. So digital is disrupting the entire world. If you look at how digital disruption is happening in the world, they're saying by 2030, the digital economy is going to be so big, it's going to be some trillions of dollars worldwide economy. So, and then one kind of interesting slide which I came across, it shows how technologies have been adapted. And about, when airlines started, it took, to reach 50 million people, users, it took 68 years. And then you look at what happened to the mobile. It took about, cell phones took 12 years, and Pokemon took 19 days. So what is happening is the kind of adoption we are doing at this technology is a very fast rate. And ChatGPT, which I think all of you are very familiar right now, it's a rage right now. About 300 million people are using as of today. So it's amazing the kind of pace that we are moving in adopting the technology. And then we live in a digital world. What it means, just look at the population is about close to 8 billion people, of which internet is almost 5 billion. Almost 63% of the population in the world has access to the internet. Then there are about 56% of them use mobiles, and 69% use the mobiles, and almost 40% of them use social media through mobile. So what's happening is there is enough number of people in the world that are really connected with this digital world that we are seeing. Next. And another interesting phenomena, what's happening is we are truly blessed to be in this era. The reason for that is there's so many technologies that are converging. If you look at the reason that there's so much growth in technology, it's amazing to see number of technologies, how they're collaborating to impact everything we do in our life. Look at the AI, ML, analytics, IoT, sensors, 5G, 3G, 3D, robotics. All of these are kind of converging to impact everything we do. The way we shop, the way we travel, the way we take care of our health. All of this has such an impact. That's why you see the tremendous activity in the technology field. And that's where you all belong to. This is a great opportunity. And that opportunity is almost $30 trillion plus. And then how you look at impact in AI and silicon industry. Now, silicon industry, if you look at Silicon Valley, that's where you all look at it, there are many ways to look at what happened. But one way to look at it, how does the silicon supply chain, how does the silicon absorption, use of silicon has happened. Now, the next slide talks about that. So, in AI, the most important thing is let's understand the problem statement. The problem statement is you have to have a processor which has ability to hundreds and millions of pictures, voice, text to be processed very quickly in a few milliseconds and present the result. The traditional computing that we have is not possible. There are sequential, but graphics is definitely possible, but then graphics processors consume huge amount of power. So that's not very practical to have this all over the place. The next thing give it to me. Can I have the control? No, it's not working? Okay. So what it requires is, in order to do that, you need to have a processor which is completely different from what we have done in the past. It has to have something called matrix compute capabilities. That is where the new AI architectures have come up. So with that, the ability to process millions of pictures and data in a fraction of milliseconds is very possible. And in the industry, what we look for when we develop a product, there are three things that we care for. One is it has to perform. The power has to be within the possibility of what you can carry, what you can use. And then third thing is it has to be cost effective. In all of this have to happen, there has to be a new architecture. And that's how the AI architectures have come in. That's why you see there's so many companies in the world trying to do this AI processors, either edge processors, or cloud processors, or all kinds of processors out there. Now there are four kind of technologies. CPUs, we all know, they are very generic. They are very good in terms of you run a generic programming. GPUs do extensive parallel processing. As I said, they're power hungry. AI processors, there are again two domains there. One is digital, other one is analog. In digital, you can do quite a bit performance, but there is again a special, you can only run certain kind of AI programs. There's another way of doing it is also analog. Analog technology can also be implemented. If you look at in-memory computing, analog AI computing, there are the next generation is also happening there. So both of them are well suited for AI applications. That's why you see the new host of new companies are fundamentally going after the two that are where there's efficiency is more. The power efficiency when compared to performance is very high. The next one just gives you a little bit of a idea of how these things are so powerful. If you look at in AI, there's a training and inference. I think some of you are already aware of that. So if you look at how the general processing versus graphics versus the AI specific processors, they are 10 to 1,000 times or something 100,000 times better than the regular processing processing chips. So that fundamentally is fueling the entire AI ecosystem. Though there are accuracies more or less similar, the amount of processing power you can do with the cost effectiveness and less power is what is driving the AI silicon. The next slide talks about evolution of silicon. What is the total silicon consumption in the world? The first era started with, if you look at mainframes, that was when about 25 million units were sold, roughly about 50 billion was the consumption of the silicon. The next era came PC and internet. There it jumped from 50 billion chips, the total volume, to went on to 140 plus billion. The next era is mobility. That also did fairly well. But there, you can see that every one of us having a cell phone, which means there's a sort of silicon content in there, that went from almost from 140 to 400 plus billion. Now the next era is AI. With the AI, everybody is predicting the silicon revenues in the world is going to touch $1 trillion plus by 2030. That's a huge jump, 3 times than more than 2.5 times more than. We have never seen something like that in the entire history of silicon. So that is the impact of AI that's having on the silicon, the chips that we are using. So we'll talk about why it is so big. Next slide, we'll talk about. So where does AI can be used? There is no place that I cannot think of where AI cannot be used. So that is probably the easier statement than it can be used here, here, here. So just to give an example, it can be in a 5G core networks or on your mobile. It can be in automotive. Significant use of automotive industry is changing and how AI is impacting there. It can be surveillance and defense and all of that. Now there is another slide just talks about how this. The slide about the market that we have, previous slide, just stay there. Sorry about that. So the market here is about, for AI silicon, is $67 billion by 2025, which is in 2 years from now. It's a huge amount, big market. Within that, there are 2 sets of categories. One is cloud. The AI that you do on the cloud. Other one is the AI that you do on the edge devices. The edge devices is the largest market. So that is where you see the AI silicon is going to be fairly powerful and is going to be adopted very quickly. Next slide. As I said before, there are 2 kinds of where you can use. One is on training, that you can use the AI chips for the training purposes. We can also use the AI for the inferencing. The difference between these 2 is, I think most of you are computer science and electrical engineers. So training is you train a model on a set of data, and you go through the iteration to make sure that it is trained very well. And then you deploy this on another platform where you can recognize, once you present random data, it knows what exactly it is, and then tells you, okay, this is a cat, this is a Pradeep, this is Subramaniam, whatever it is. So whatever we trained on. So that's there are 2 different sets of kind of applications. One is training and one inferencing. So typically the training happens in the cloud because it requires a lot of processing. Edge inferencing requires a little bit more lesser than that. So that's why on the edge inferencing you see more silicon consumption. Next. So another way where AI is used in which applications, one of the fastest and growing segment is vision, where vision is where the AI becomes a huge important, whether it's in automotive, whether it's in medical, everything is vision. Once you can see that, how for us as a human, vision plays such an important role in our decision making. when you eat, when you cross the road, when you do anything, vision is such an important. This is exactly where the AI is impacting. Vision applications, one of the largest applications, have been very quickly adopting, and that's one of the biggest vision where you see the revenues also coming from. I'm going to talk about automotive, the disruption in the automotive. There are two examples I want to take. In automotive, if you look at it, level 5 autonomous driving. And I've seen in your labs, some of you are already working on that. It's amazing to imagine to see that in the next few, I don't know, maybe about 5 years, 10 years from now, there will be a completely autonomous driving vehicles. That means you don't have to sit and drive, you just sit happily like in your house and watch whatever you want, it will take you wherever you want. That's amazing. Almost about $170 billion market potential, 60% have contributed by shared mobility. That is, all the companies that you're looking at, the shared mobility, the people taking the goods, taking the passengers, that is what the market is. AI is going to be enabling the key player here. Now, if you look at amount of money that is invested, is almost $80 billion is invested, but there's going to be estimated double by 2022. By 2017, this was invested. We don't have the numbers for this yet, but their estimation is it's going to be double. $160 billion has been invested in the automotive driving alone. That's because AI, again. Now, what is happening is the traditional OEMs, which are the Tatas or anybody, the Toyotas, they are completely disrupted. What used to be fundamentally a mechanical mechanical product, it has become a complete electronics and software product. It is giving a great opportunities for many companies to enter into this field. Not only that, what is happening in the OEM, this particular segment, it is not going to be anymore a mechanical or nut and bolt kind of industry. It's going to be a software and platform kind of an industry where they're going to have a platform. Software can be given very regularly to update the cars. That's going to be happening. And then there's a next slide. Yeah. So basically selling a software once and updating the software many times is what is going to happen. What's the social impact? If you look at it, at least this is the numbers for the London, almost 235 hours are spent in the traffic. And now in Bangalore, I don't know whether it's 200, 300 or 400, I don't know, it's something definitely comparable to that, probably more than that. And then 94% of the deaths are happening because of human errors. It's not about something, the one who is controlling, that is where it's happening. And there is a huge impact of, there's accident, 25,000 people are lost their lives in every year. That's a big number. Now this is where the autonomous driving is going to impact significantly to reduce all of that. Now, next slide. Autonomous driving, I think I put this slide not realizing how deep you're already working on it, but since it's here, I'm just going to quickly talk about it. There's a 0 to level 5, level 5 being a completely autonomous, level 3 and 4 is conditional autonomous, and the 1 and 2 the assistance. So everywhere you see in the cockpit, where does the silicon come? There, one of the examples there is voice recognized chip. You can tell sitting in the cockpit, roll down the windows or increase the temperature, start certain music. Now everything is about 50 manual adjustments. That is all going to be done by automatically. Again, AI plays a huge role there. On the driver monitoring system, driver monitoring is where you see delivers to you, to home, and automatically. So if you look at all of this, it's very amazing. It is not that far from that happening, because the technology is already there. The innovation is already there. Now, for all of this, whether it's a house, whether it's Amazon, whether it's a local shop, the robot, everywhere you see silicon. Everywhere you need silicon that is required to run this AI processing networks. So now the last one is ChatGPT. I think you all already know what ChatGPT is. It has caught on fire. It's become everybody's darling right now. If you say I'm ChatGPT in startup, people just give you money. So it's going to be impacting everything we do, how we do. It's also will have a significant impact on certain day-to-day jobs that we have. I think there's going to be definitely impacted. But then what is ChatGPT? I think you all know. I don't know how much I need to talk about it, but it's about AI-powered chat box by OpenAI. So Microsoft has done that. It's a language model capable of intelligently communicating with you. You say something, it'll give you back, and you say, no, this is not. It's a very conversational app that you can really ask very intelligent questions. And ChatGPT estimated in order to run this ChatGPT, is 175 trillion parameters have to be trained. And to do that, it's a humongous amount of processing power you need. For ChatGPT 3.5, it was 1.5 billion. But 4, we heard that it could be about some trillions. We don't know. We don't have the data. Now, to do that, to train that model, what they said, it is again an estimate. They don't have any numbers published yet. Maybe they'll publish soon. What they're estimating is they'll probably use about 10,000 NVIDIA A100 GPU processors. Now, this is all silicon again. That's why you see the reason for the amount of silicon that's needed, consumed by the world, is going to be significantly high. And to run this, the cost of this running is almost 100K per day, just to run this model. And the adoption rate has gone, I think it's about 250 or 270 million people are on the ChatGPT. After US, India is the largest population that is using a ChatGPT. I think we are extremely, extremely adaptive with the technologies. We adapt technologies so well, and we beat everybody else in the world when it comes to that. Especially if it's cheap, it's free. Okay, so this slide also caught my attention. If you look at about 2000 onwards, what are the top most valuable companies in the world? You have a GE, you have I don't see that, Microsoft is there, Exxon, Citibank, and that was, Walmart. So if you look at GE can be Microsoft is a technology company. Can say GE, yes, it can be considered as technology. Then you look at 2023, what happened? It's amazing to see all the brick and mortar companies are replaced by technology companies, except Aramco, which is a oil company. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, they all are into AI. None of them are ignoring AI, and they all are trying to build their own silicons as much as possible. So the summary is, all the AI is happening, it's a big time. There's a huge opportunity for silicon. The race is on. Everybody is trying to be on that, be on the bandwagon. The development of hardware will multiple ways of architecting, multiple ways of putting the products which are power efficient, which are performance efficient, cost efficient, is what the race is. The innovation is happening tremendously in this area, but a great opportunity, especially for youngsters like yourself, who are very interested in being part of this. And I think that you are in such a great time. It's your opportunity to participate and do well in this. And silicon is going to be the heart of all of the AI, and it's going to be impacting our lives in so many ways that we won't even realize now. But when you look back, everything started because of the silicon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us. Now the session is open for QA session, question and answers.
Very good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Very good morning, sir. I have a question regarding how do you approach research and development to be at the forefront of semiconductor technology advancements, sir?
How do you approach?
How do you approach research and development to be at the forefront?
So I think generally, if you look at it, in any organization, research is a very small percentage of the total amount, the number of people that are there in the organization. Roughly maybe less than 5-10%. The entire organization is about implementation. Once you have a certain technology, how to make that technology more useful for the market, for the users. That is where the significant portion of engineering teams have been built. It's true for semiconductor companies, it's true for software companies. Once you have the secret sauce, implementing it is a huge volume, number of people. So best way for youngsters is institutions. I think that's where you get to, they are very happy to take very easily, and the barrier to entry is, I would say, less than the corporate world. And there are many institutions that are there around the world who are willing to take young people like yourself to be part of their whole research. I think that's the right, and if I were you, I would do that. You can always try in getting into bigger corporations, but unfortunately, it's a very, very limited number of positions, and it's not easy to get in unless you are in the organization, work your way up to that, and it's not that easy. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. I do have one more question, sir. What are your views on fabs and your estimation that it will be a reality in India?
It's a very controversial topic. I would, let me say very balanced way. What is happening in India is very welcome. If you look at the government, what they're doing is amazing to give a focus to semiconductors. Semiconductors is the oil, new oil. And it's glad people have realized this, politicians have realized that. That's number one. Number two, in my opinion, fab is a deep pockets and a very long drawn process. And you have to have, to make them successful, you have to have, along with the technology, you need to have certain infrastructure that is very important to make this fab very successful. So are we there yet? I think we are not there yet. Do we have the right kind of intentions at the government level? Absolutely. But this is a big boys game. I can't set up a fab. So now people with the smaller amounts cannot set up a fab. So I think it's going to be a good initiative. Whether it's going to be successful, we've got to wait and watch. But always, we need to start somewhere. I think it's a good initiation. More importantly, I think we should focus more on design, product design. Now, if you look at examples, Israel, they don't have as many fabs that everybody wants. In fact, US has moved out from manufacturing quite some time back. They're still number one. Look at the companies that you looked at. Everybody have the top innovation happening. So I don't think we can all, and the fab is good, but I don't know if it's the vehicle for the success.
Yes, so thank you, sir. I certainly look up to you as a role model. Thank you.
So, very good morning.
Good morning.
What is the role of humans if all AI takes over and all the intelligence is gone? And as you said, all research design will happen hardly less than 1% or fraction of a percent of people who are intelligent enough to design. So what happens to the role of humans in terms of even decision making? We are all so dependent, it becomes so dependent on artificial intelligence.
Absolutely, sir. That's a very challenging question for all of us. But I can only look back from the history and say what happened. When computers were started, they said there's going to be no jobs. There's completely economy is going to be stalled, people are going to be jobless. What happened? We as humans, we figured it out how to use every possible technology that comes to us. That's a God gift to us. AI don't have that kind of capability. Number two, I think there's no emotions. Computers can't cry, they can't laugh, they can make public, but I think those are all important things. There are going to be more and more research, there are going to be more and more products. I don't think world will stop at one point. We will keep evolving. If the AI we think is going to be lose jobs, we will find something else. I have that ability. I think we are much smarter than that. So that's why we evolved if you look at our generation, millions of years, we've been beating every challenge that we had. So this is another challenge we will pass by. So we'll continue to be there. That's the optimistic way.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I have a doubt, sir. Sir, can you share any examples of successful partnerships your company has engaged in to improve its own offerings?
Partnerships improve our own offerings. So I will tell you generic partnering, okay, it's very important for the success, okay. I will not focus on a specific thing, what company has done, but I'll give you the characteristics of to be successful, how to partner, if that is okay with you, yeah?
Yes.
So think about this, if you want to be, everybody want to be successful, and unfortunately, we are not born with the intelligence of some very few gifted ones. If you're Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, maybe not a right name to start right now, but if you're that, you don't have to partner, you know what you want to do, you can change, you can do. But most of us are almost an average intelligence. Where your success really, if you're truly relying on your intelligence, I don't think that will come. Your success will come by partnering. It's not only partnering with your colleagues, partnering with the customers, partnering with your ecosystem is very important. So for partnering, what is more important is your attitude. So to me, attitude plays a lot more importance in the success. If I look at it, I was not the best student. I was a good student. But I think in my mind, what helped me to become where I am today is purely my attitude towards what I want to become and how I want to partner with everybody else around me. So that's I think it's a very difficult question to say this one thing will help you there. In your, you can't simulate your life experiences in a software. Everything, today you may meet certain people who are very difficult, and there are certain areas where people have beaten me to the hell. At certain times, I stood up and say why I'm good at, what I'm good at. So you need to sometimes to be strong. At the same time, you need to be listening and be very accommodative of all the criticisms you get. That's the best partnering you can do.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. What was the motivation behind starting your first own company?
Oh, that's to tell you the truth, my wife did not get a visa to America. So that was the motivation. May not be a great one, but so America said your wife cannot come for next 3 years because I'm a green card holder. So I got married and then she got rejected. Then I looked at the opportunity, the hell, I'll go back to India. If you don't want to allow her, so it's fine. When I came to India, and there was always a passion, honestly, it comes from my dad. There is a certain level of how you built is also important. I think my dad is the greatest inspiration for me. He when I was a kid, and your role model is always your people that are around you. Your father is the most important figure in your life. And then your gurus are the most important in your life. In my case, I had an opportunity to see my dad, how innovative he is in thinking. He has done many businesses. The only thing he didn't have is the patience. So that came from my mother. So the combination of these two, I think, what really helped me. And I always wanted to do something on my own. That's number one. And when I came to India, I saw an opportunity. That is the time frame where Wipro, Infosys, all of these companies are 2,000 plus employees. They're going public and building buildings and buying huge, all over the place you see that. Then I felt, and why can't I do the same thing for semiconductors from India? And that's how this started. One is ability to take a risk. You have to have some passion, ability to take the risk, and being connected into what's happening and looking into the future, what can happen. I think that's very important to be successful.
Another one, sir. Can you clarify the statement what you have told? Means giving importance to design rather than not setting up a fab at this time.
So, if you look at fabless semiconductor companies, right? Qualcomm doesn't have a fab. What's the core technology there? The modem. The IP is how they know how to make modems. NVIDIA doesn't have a fab. What's the core success there? The graphics processor. The entire ecosystem they've built. This is what I meant. It means for you to be successful, it has to be design companies are a lot more important to ecosystem. That's much more lower hanging fruit. You can build a company with a $50 million, a $20 million, a great product in fabless semiconductor. But you cannot build a fab unless you have billions of dollars. So in my mind, the low hanging fruit is the fabless semiconductor companies. You enable them to start with. Then you have more number of product companies in India. It will automatically help the fabless fab also in India. So I'm not against it, but I just feel that the opportunity is only for limited number of people there. Unless you are billions of dollars with you, you can invest there. But I don't know if that gives there will be a good opportunity to do for the jobs. I don't have, definitely. Both technical and blue collar, everybody will have white collars. But the opportunity to be an entrepreneur is very hard. It's only few people that can do in the world.
Okay, to conclude, design needs R&D and fab needs investment, heavy investment.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I mean, there is a lot of research in fab also, but it's a very different kind of research. It's chemicals, there's the process technology, all of that is there, but that's not. In order to put a fab, you need to buy these machines which runs into hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's very difficult to have set up a fab with limited money.
Fine, sir. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Good morning, sir. I would like to ask what were the major challenges you have faced while starting your company and how did you overcome that?
Boss, challenges, the number one, when I first started, I was 29 and the people I was hiring were 35 and 40. They come to the hotel and they look for some aged person and then they see me and said, oh, you are Pradeep Vajram. And it took a lot of convincing for them to join me. So that was the initial phase. Okay, people don't associate, especially when I was starting, experience was equally important. Nowadays it's very different. So convincing people to join us was a challenge. And then I don't think my customers were mostly the US based. The beauty of US customers is if if they like what they see, what they hear, the ability to give them for the project is very fast. That's culturally, it's how US market is. Whereas in India, I think we are slightly different. Getting a business there's a lot of optimization on the cost. Cost is the biggest people who look for, whether it's the Reliance, whether it's Infosys, everybody wants to cut the cost as much as possible. Doesn't matter who you are, even your startup, even if they're getting big advantage, sometimes we are driven by the cost. In India, we had a cost problems. And at some point we stood and said, no, we're not going to do this. If you want us, this is what we do. This is what we have to pay certain price to get what you want. And as long as you believe in that and don't dilute your business just to get some business, you'll be fine.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. So, in a brief introduction of yours, Desai sir had mentioned that you recruit students. So, what are the strategies that you employ to recruit the students?
It's a supply and demand, honestly. There's really not much of a strategy. We need certain young blood to come into our companies, right? And that depending on how quickly you want to grow, and we keep inducting people every year. So in the different kinds of setups, in the services companies, we grew from 30 people to 1,200 people in Smart Play. Every year we used to recruit about 250 employees. It's within 7 years we've grown from 0 to 1,200 worldwide. There the recruitment was heavy. We used to induct 50, 40, 100 engineers at a time, even from colleges, maybe 50. In the product company is very different. You cannot just have huge number of people until your production, until you're getting some more money and have more product. So it depends on which business you're in and what is the market need and what's the projection you have for your growth itself. So the typical strategy for us is we don't have huge number of people. My love towards BVB and Desai sir, anytime Desai sir says anything, I'll do it. Sir, you told me that I request you to do some center here. You don't have to request me, sir, you need to order me. That's all there is.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for clarifying all our doubts. Now, I request Dr. Ashok Shettar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, KLE Technological University, to deliver the presidential address. Please, sir.
Can I come, sir? Alone? It looks like you come, sir. I need some help. Somebody next to me.
Come.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, with a deep sense of gratitude, let me thank our star alumni, Pradeep Vajram, for his generosity by donating 1 crore rupees for the purpose of scholarships, student scholarships. Every student who enters BVB is not a privileged one. There are people with privileges, but at the same time, every year we see that there are many students entering into the portals of this institution have their own challenges. They are not privileged, they have some socio-economic challenges to continue their studies. We need to build a very strong support system in the university. We are trying to build, but still it needs to be very strong. Ultimately, with the aim of not letting any merit student to drop out of his studies for the want of money. That is, we have seen many students have come to a conclusion of dropping out because they were facing some economical problems. particularly those students coming from the rural places. Many times vagaries of the nature hit them so hard that they are not able to continue their studies. We need to build a very strong support system in the university to support any merit student who has the challenges of continuing his studies. In this direction, our own alumni association has done its own efforts. Nurture Merit program, I believe yearly they are supporting around 30 students. And this is a big donation that is coming in to the university, wherein I believe at least every year we should be able to support around 20-25 students going forward. And believe me, many of us don't realize what its value is, but for the person in need, the value of that is the paramount. I mean, only he can understand what it is. So, once again, I thank Pradeep for this. And you see, a lot of people have money. Okay, they can donate, but the spirit of giving, very few have. Okay, having money and having the spirit of giving are two different things. Okay, so hope this will inspire many more people to contribute. Many of you down 20 years, when you will be in the place of Pradeep, probably you will also remember this moment, and probably you will also be inspired by what is happening today. And everything, typically, even if you see the KLE society, the whole society is based on the idea of philanthropy. I mean, everything today the society has come from the philanthropy, right? From our founders to the land we are sitting here. Okay, the land we are sitting here, where your institution is, was donated by 35 farmers of Unkal village. Okay, so if they had not donated that land at that point of time, imagine what would have happened to the engineering education in the whole of North Karnataka. Today, thousands of students get educated here. Probably from this 100 acres, I believe almost close to 20,000 students, apart from my campus, if I consider all the campuses, 20,000 students study here. How it started? It started with a donation of land from 35 humble farmers. Everything starts small, but with right intentions, with right people joining the hands, it always impacts the society in a very big way. That's what today we are here to celebrate that. And at the same time, when he was here in the campus, we wanted to share his expertise with our students, because he is a person with tremendous experience in silicon, which is very challenging area. Even when I look at the startups all around, having a silicon or semiconductor startup is a big challenge. Okay, still Indian ecosystem, that's what we were discussing when we were sitting in our room, in my room there. Okay, India is not yet that ready to support semiconductor startups, particularly what design and all we're talking about, it is still a challenge. See, for any services company, for the companies like Zomato and all, there are huge number of ventures funding. Lot of people come there and fund because within 2 years they will have multiple valuation. But funding a deep tech company is a challenge because lot of funders don't understand what deep tech like semiconductor is. And at the same time, Pradeep was telling me that every product or whatever these fabulous companies, semiconductor companies work on, typically they need around $50 million. Okay, so the investors coming in, joining the hand is a challenge in semiconductor entrepreneurial ecosystem in India. Okay, probably that's what he was telling. Rather than a fab, we need to build this ecosystem where the entrepreneurs in fabulous companies are able to grow high value companies. So we had a great opportunity to interact with him. All of you had great opportunity. I thank once again Pradeep Vajram on behalf of all of you. And at the same time, I would also like to thank the architect, the person who is not visible but who keeps moving the things all around. Dr. Subramaniam. One of the very enterprising and successful entrepreneur of BVB. Again, he is from Desai Sir's table. Okay, Shisha. He co-founded a very successful company, SLN Technologies, along with another alumni, Anil. And today what you see in Indian space, whatever ISRO does and aerospace industry is doing, in many of the satellites, his companies, products are very critical for everything that flies out of India as a satellite. So I am proud about him and his company for the great contribution to Indian science and technology. So along with him, there are many more alumni here. I thank them for their presence. Our alumni president Ashok Tolanaur is also there. So for doing a great work, hope all of us together will be able to build a strong support system for our students in the future. Thank you. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, sir. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Uma K.M. Mudengudi, Dean and R&D, KLE Technological University, to propose vote of thanks.
I'll give
one standing ovation for Pradeep.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Actually, it was part of my vote of thanks, but however, the ASLN made, DRS made my job easy. Indeed, it is a great moment for me to represent BBB KLE Tech family to present vote of thanks. So, respected guest Pradeep Vajram ji, our beloved Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ashok Shetty sir, distinguished alumni present here, office bearer of Alumni Association, dear faculty and student friends. It's a great privilege and proud moment for all of us. This stays with all of us for many more years and a very long period. So on behalf of BVB KLE Tech family, my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Pradeep Vajram ji for his wonderful gesture and contribution. Thank you very much. And actually second part was a standing ovation to Pradeep Vajram ji, and then already we have done that part. So I take this opportunity to also thank all our alumnus, particularly DRS for his very untiring efforts to connect alumni with the college. Thank you very much. So I also take this opportunity to thank the President of Alumni Association, Ashok Tolanar sir, for his really wonderful support and the programs. So I take this opportunity to thank all other the Pradeep Vajram ji classmates. Many of them are here, so thank you very much for gracing the occasion. I take this opportunity to thank all faculty, student friends, and this gesture and this contribution and the movement today stays with us for a longer period, motivates us to contribute back to the alma mater. Thank you.
ಯಾರು ಚಶ್ಮೆ ಹಿಡಿದು ಮುಂದೆ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಣ್ಣ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು